You have been standing before it for so long. My child, haven't you? The door that was once a gateway to your future, it's now firmly, irrevocably shut. You have traced its seams with your memory. You have knocked upon its unyielding surface with your prayers. You have stared at its cold, silent finality until your own hope has grown cold. They, the onlookers of your life, have seen this closed door, this undeniable ending to a chapter, and they have offered their somber consensus. It's over. That path is finished. There's no going through there now. And you, my beloved, in the profound grief of this closure, have believed them. You have accepted that this part of your story has concluded not with a gentle fade, but with a slam door, leaving you standing before what now feels like a solid, impenetrable wall. You remember what that door represented, my precious one. It was not just wood and hardware. It was a living symbol of your most cherished aspirations. Perhaps it was the door to a lifelong love, a relationship that you believed was your destiny, now sealed shut by a painful goodbye, by betrayal, or by circumstance. Perhaps it was the door to a career, a calling, a vocation that you felt defined you, now barred by a termination, a failure, a change in the world that left no room for your specific gifts. Or perhaps it was the door to a dream, a deeply held vision for your life, for your family, for your future, now rendered impossible by a turn of events that you never saw coming, whatever its name. That door represented a passage, a way forward, a future you could envision. And its closing has felt like an amputation of your very soul. The pain of standing before this wall, where a door once stood, is a unique and profound sorrow. It is the ache of rejection, the sting of being shut out, the deep wound of being told by life itself, you are not welcome here. You may not pass. It is a frustration of powerlessness, of knowing that no amount of your own effort, your own will, your own desire can force that door to open again. You have pushed, you have pleaded, you have perhaps even raged against its unyielding surface, only to be met with a silence that confirms its finality, leaving you weary, bruised, and increasingly hopeless. The world, my child, in its pragmatic wisdom, offers little true comfort in such a place. It sees the closed door and advises you to simply turn around and walk away. Accept it. They counsel, let it go, find another door. And while there's a sliver of truth in their advice, it often fails to honor the profound grief that must accompany such a loss. Their haste for you to move on can feel like a dismissal of the significance of what has been lost, an invalidation of your pain. They do not understand that you cannot simply walk away from a part of your own story without first mourning its end, without first acknowledging the deep wound that its closure has inflicted upon your heart. And so, you have been left in this lonely vigil, staring at the wall, your spirit haunted by the ghost of the open door that once was. You may have found yourself trapped in a cycle of replaying the past, wondering what you could have done differently, tormenting yourself with if-onlys. This is the prison of the closed door, my child, a place where the past holds you captive and the future seems utterly blocked. The despair that grows in such a place is a thick, choking fog, obscuring all light, silencing all other voices, until the only reality you can perceive is the unyielding, hopeless finality of the barrier before you. But I come to you now, my beloved. As you stand in this very place of your deepest discouragement, I come to stand with you before this very door that feels so permanently shut. I come to gently take your face in my hands and to turn your gaze, ever so slightly, so that you might see it as I see it. For where you see a wall, I see a doorway. Where you see an ending, I see an entrance. Where you see a final, painful rejection, I see a sacred, holy threshold that I, your God, am even now holding open for you. Your story, my child, is not a closed door. It has become, in my hands, the very threshold to a new and more glorious room in the mansion of your life. This is a truth that your natural eyes, fixed upon the wood and the stone of the barrier, cannot yet perceive. It is a reality that your mind, conditioned by the world's logic of endings, may struggle to comprehend. But I am the God of the unseen, the God of the impossible, the divine alchemist who specializes in turning endings into beginnings, tombs into wombs, and closed doors into magnificent, wide open thresholds. The very story that led you to this place of closure, the very pain you have endured before this sealed off path, has not been a tragedy that has ruined your life. It has been a sacred preparation, a divine chiseling that has transformed what was once a mere door into a consecrated entryway, a portal into a new dimension of my grace and my purpose for you. My hand, my child, is on the doorframe. My presence is what keeps this from being a solid wall of despair. I am holding the way open, even when you have been unable to see the opening. The world, and your own grief, has told you the way is shut. But I, the way, the truth, and the life, I tell you that a passage remains. It is a passage not back into the past you have lost, but forward into a future you have not yet imagined. I do not deny the reality of the door being closed in the earthly realm. The relationship is over. The job is gone. The dream is in its former state. No more. But I am here to tell you that the story is not over. That earthly closure, however painful, is not the final word. It is, in my divine narrative, simply the end of one chapter, a chapter that has served its purpose in bringing you to this very spot, to this very threshold that I am now holding open. So, my beloved, I invite you to begin to shift your perspective, to lift your eyes from the cold, hard finality of the door that has been shut in your face, and to look for my hand, for my light, for the subtle yet glorious opening that I'm creating. It requires a step of faith. It requires a willingness to believe in a reality beyond what your senses are telling you. But I promise you, my child, it is there. Your story is not an ending. It is a threshold, and I am holding it open, waiting for you to have the courage to step through. Yes, my precious child. While you have been standing before what appears to be a solid wall, your heart heavy with the finality of the closed door, I have been standing there with you all along. But my perspective is entirely different. You have been focused on the door itself, on its unyielding wood, its cold, impassive stone, its message of rejection and ending. But I invite you now to shift your gaze, to look just to the side of where you have been staring, for it is there that my own hand has been resting upon the doorframe. This is the secret you have not seen, the truth that changes everything. What you have perceived as a sealed-off ending, I have been actively, lovingly holding open as a sacred threshold. a divine entrance into a new and more glorious reality. My hand upon the doorframe, my child, is my seal of promise, my declaration that the world does not have the final say. The forces that shut that door in your face, the decisions of others, the limitations of circumstance, the seeming finality of loss, they have their own power in the earthly realm. Yes, but their power is finite. My power is infinite, and my hand, resting here at the very site of your deepest disappointment, is my sovereign statement that their no is being overruled by my eternal yes. My hand on this frame prevents it from ever becoming a true wall. It ensures that what looks like a barrier is, in fact, a portal held open by my grace, waiting for your faith. You have felt so alone in this place of closure, so abandoned, but you were never alone. I have been here, a quiet, steadfast presence. While you have been weeping before the door, my hand has been there, a silent testament to my faithfulness. While you have been beating against it in your frustration, my hand has been there, absorbing the force of your pain, steadying the very frame of your life so that you would not completely shatter, while you have slumped in despair before it. My hand has been there, radiating a warmth you may not have perceived, a love that refused to leave you in the cold of your rejection. My presence transforms this place from a site of abandonment into a site of divine encounter. Let me tell you about the hand that rests upon this doorframe. My beloved, it is a hand of immense power. It is the hand that scooped the clay to form you, that spun the stars into their courses, that holds the very atoms of creation together. This is the hand that has the power to hold open a way when all other ways seem closed, to create a threshold where there appears to be only a solid wall. The forces of this world may seem mighty, but they are as nothing compared to the quiet, unshakable power of the hand that now rests upon the frame of your story, holding open the passage to your destiny. Trust in this power. My child, it is more than sufficient to overcome any barrier that stands before you. But this hand, my precious one, is also a hand of exquisite gentleness. It is a hand of the Good Shepherd, who knows his sheep by name, who binds up their wounds, who carries them close to his heart. This hand upon your doorframe does not force you, does not drag you through the opening. It waits with infinite patience. It rests there as a quiet invitation, a gentle reassurance. Its touch is not one of compulsion, but of loving welcome. It is a hand that says, I am here. The way is safe. When you're ready, I will guide you through. Feel its gentleness, my child, and let it calm your fearful heart. And look closer, my beloved, at this hand upon the doorframe of your life. See the scar in its palm. This is a hand that knows what it is to be rejected, to be misunderstood, to face the brutal finality of a door slammed shut. These are the hands that were pierced for you, the hands that absorb the full force of all the world's darkness and despair so that a new way, a way of grace, of resurrection, of open thresholds, could be made available to you forever. The hand that holds your future open is a hand that intimately understands your past pain. It is a hand of profound empathy, a hand that can be trusted completely, for it has journeyed through its own Gethsemane, its own Calvary, and has emerged victorious. holding now the very keys to life and death, the very power to turn every ending into a new beginning. I invite you now, my child, to make that crucial shift in your focus. For so long, you have been staring at the closed door, hypnotized by the loss, defined by the rejection. And as long as your gaze is fixed there, you will remain on the outside, in the cold. But now, I call you to lift your eyes from the door and to look at my hand upon the frame. Focus on my presence, not on their absence. Focus on my power, not on their limitation. Focus on my invitation, not on their rejection. As you fix your gaze upon me, as you begin to contemplate the reality of my loving, powerful, and wounded hand holding this way open for you, the very nature of your reality will begin to change. The solid wall of your despair will begin to look less solid. You will start to perceive, perhaps faintly at first, the shimmering light from the room beyond. A light that has been there all along, but which your focus on the closed door has prevented you from seeing. You will begin to feel the warmth of my love radiating from my hand, a warmth that pushes back against the chill of your loneliness. The narrative in your heart will begin to shift from the way is blocked to he is the way, from it is over to a new chapter is being held open for me. This is a conscious choice. My beloved, a retraining of your spiritual sight. It is the act of choosing to believe in the reality of my hand, my presence, my open threshold, more than you believe in the apparent reality of the closed door. I am not asking you to deny the pain of what has happened. I am asking you to believe that it is not the final, nor the most powerful reality in your story. My hand upon the door frame is the greater reality. My love holding open a new way for you is the truer truth. My hand is on the door frame of your life, my child, a constant, loving, and powerful presence. It is my promise that no ending in this world is ever absolute. It is my invitation to look beyond the disappointment and to see the new opportunity I'm creating. It is my unwavering commitment to be with you, to guide you, to make a way for you, even when it seems no way exists. Turn your eyes to my hand, my precious one. See it there, scarred with love, radiant with power, patiently waiting, and let the sight of it begin to change everything. For the door you thought was shut forever is, in truth, a threshold I have been holding open for you all along. And so, my cherished child, as you begin to shift your gaze from the cold finality of the closed door to the warm, loving reality of my hand resting upon its frame, let me now lead you into an even deeper, more wondrous understanding. For this threshold I hold open for you is not a generic portal, not a prefabricated entryway that exists independently of your journey. No, my beloved, the sacred threshold you are now facing has been meticulously, masterfully, and miraculously constructed from the very substance of your own story. Every trial you have endured, every tear you have shed, every moment of your faithful endurance, these have not been obstacles to your progress, but have been. In my divine artistry, the very tools and materials I have used to forge this unique and glorious doorway into your future. You have looked upon your past and seen a series of painful events, perhaps even a narrative of failure or loss. But I, your master craftsman, have been taking those very events and using them for a sacred purpose of construction. Think of the trials you have faced, the hardships that have pressed upon you, the circumstances that have seemed to chasten and confine you. You experience them as painful afflictions, but they have been my carving tools. With every difficulty, I have been chiseling away the excess, the superficial, the parts of your character and your life that were not aligned with your true, eternal self. The sharp edges of a difficult relationship have carved into you a new capacity for empathy. The unyielding pressure of a long season of waiting has carved into you a profound patience. The jarring impact of a sudden loss has carved away a layer of worldly attachment, revealing a deeper longing for me. The very struggles that you thought were disfiguring you have, in truth, been shaping the intricate, beautiful, and utterly unique framework of this sacred threshold. And the tears you have shed, my precious one, those rivers of sorrow you thought were a sign of your undoing, they have been my sacred cleansing agent, the holy water I have used to wash and prepare the very wood of this doorway. Your tears of repentance have washed away the stains of past mistakes. Your tears of grief have cleansed the bitterness from old wounds. Your tears of frustration and surrender have stripped away the veneer of pride and self-reliance. They have left the wood of your soul softened, purified, and ready to be consecrated for a holy purpose. What felt to you like a flood of defeat was, in fact, a purifying baptism, making this threshold a clean and holy passage, a doorway fit for a child of the King to walk through. And what of your endurance? My beloved, your quiet, tenacious refusal to give up. Even when all seemed lost, this, my child, this has been the divine process of strengthening the very hinges of this door. For a threshold that leads to a new and more glorious reality must be supported by hinges of immense strength, lest it collapse under the weight of the glory that is to be revealed. Every day you chose to trust me when it was difficult. Every time you held on to hope when it seemed foolish. Every moment you persevered in love when your heart was weary. With each of these choices, you were cooperating with my spirit in the forging of these mighty hinges. Your endurance has built within you a new resilience, a new fortitude, a spiritual strength that now makes you ready and able to swing open this great door and to step confidently into the new room of your life without faltering. Had you not been strengthened by the long journey, the very glory of what lies beyond this threshold might have overwhelmed you. But your endurance has made you strong. The hinges are now secure, and you are ready. Do you see, my child, nothing in your story has been wasted. The very elements you have lamented, the very chapters you have wished to erase, have been the indispensable materials from which I have constructed your way forward. This is the profound mystery of my redemptive work. I do not work in spite of your struggles and your sorrows. I work through them. I take the very things the enemy intended for your destruction, and I transform them into the building blocks of your glorious destiny. The closed door of your past has not been an obstacle to my plan. It has been an integral, essential part of my construction process. It has become the raw material for the threshold. This means, my beloved, that your unique story, with all its specific pains and particular struggles, has created a threshold that is uniquely yours, leading to a future that is perfectly tailored for you, another person with a different story, a different set of trials, will have a different threshold leading to their own unique destiny. Do not ever again compare your journey to another's, for your path, with all its seeming detours and difficulties, has been the perfect process for forging the specific doorway through which your most authentic and glorious future can be entered. Your story has not been a mistake. It has been a sacred, purposeful, and masterful work of divine architecture. I am the doorkeeper, the one who holds this threshold open for you. But you, my child, you are the one who has provided the very substance from which it has been made. It is your life, your experiences, your yieldedness to me in the midst of your trials that have become the beautiful, strong, and sacred material in my hands. And my heart has been filled with a profound and tender pride as I have watched you, as I have worked with you. In this co-creative process, I have seen the beauty of the carvings born from your trials. I have cherished the purity of the wood washed by your tears. I have marveled at the strength of the hinges forged by your endurance. And I behold this threshold now, this product of our shared journey. And I declare that it is good, that it is holy, that it is ready. Let this understanding bring a profound healing and a deep sense of purpose to your entire past. My child, every moment of your life has had meaning. Every struggle has had a purpose. Every tear has served a divine function. It has all been leading to this moment, to this sacred entryway that I am now holding open for you. The past is not a weight that holds you back. It is the very foundation upon which your future is built. The very substance of the threshold you are about to cross. When you look upon your story now, see it not as a narrative of closed doors, but as the beautiful and intricate account of the forging of a sacred doorway. And know that the same loving, skillful, and all-powerful hand that has used your past so redemptively is the same hand that now holds that doorway open, inviting you to step through into the magnificent new chapter that awaits. And so, my cherished child, as you stand now before this sacred threshold, forged from the very substance of your own redeemed story, your spirit beginning to trust the hand that holds it open, I invite you now to peer with me through the luminous archway into the magnificent reality that awaits. For this threshold does not lead into an empty void or an uncertain darkness. No, my beloved, it opens into a new room in the mansion of your life, a room that I have been lovingly, meticulously preparing for you, a room whose very atmosphere, whose every furnishing, whose entire design speaks of grace, of purpose, of peace, and of boundless new possibility. This, my child, is the room that awaits beyond the threshold, the new chapter of your story I am so joyful to unveil. Look with me now, my precious one. The light in this new room is different. It is not the harsh, conditional light of the world you have known, nor the dim, fearful light of your own past struggles. It is the warm, gentle, all-encompassing light of my grace. This is a room where you are no longer required to strive to be worthy, to perform to be accepted, to prove your value. You enter this room and are immediately, completely enveloped in the profound, unshakable truth of your belovedness. The very air you breathe here is the air of my unmerited favor. In this room, your soul can finally exhale, can release the long-held tension of trying to be enough, and can simply rest in the beautiful, liberating reality that you are enough because you are mine. This is a room where the old narratives of shame and failure have no voice, where the only definition of you that matters is my own. And my definition is always, only, love. This new room, my child, is also a place of profound and clarified purpose. The former room of your life may have felt confusing, its purpose obscured by your trials, by the world's expectations, by your own uncertainties. But this new room has been designed with your unique, God-given calling at its very center. The very skills that were forged in your past struggles now find their perfect application here. The compassion that was carved into your heart now has a clear and beautiful focus. The wisdom that was distilled from your tears now becomes the very lens through which you see your work in the world. In this room, you will discover new opportunities, new assignments, new creative endeavors that resonate perfectly with the deepest, most authentic parts of your being, the very parts that were refined and revealed through your journey to this threshold. Here, your life's work ceases to be a striving for success and becomes a joyful expression of the divine purpose I have woven into your very soul. This is a room of meaningful, fruitful, and deeply satisfying activity. And feel the peace that permeates this new reality. My beloved, it is a peace that is not merely the absence of your former conflict, but a positive, tangible presence. A serene atmosphere that soothes your spirit and calms your mind. The old anxieties, the fears that once haunted you in the hallway before the closed door, cannot cross this threshold. They dissolve in the light of my presence, which fills this room. This is the peace that comes from knowing you are in the right place at the right time, perfectly held within my will, your life unfolding according to a divine and loving design. It is a sanctuary for your heart, a haven for your soul, a place where you can be still and know that I am God, and that I have all things concerning you in my good and capable hands. The walls of this room are my faithfulness, its ceiling, my sovereignty, its floor, my unending love. Here, my child, you are utterly, completely safe. And look, my precious one, at the windows in this new room, they are vast and wide, and they open onto horizons of possibility that you, from your former vantage point, could never have imagined. The closed door of your past blocked your view, leaving you to believe that your world had become small, your options limited. But from this new room, your perspective is transformed. You see new pathways of service, new vistas of relationship, new landscapes of creative potential stretching out before you. This is a room of expansion, of growth, of new adventures. It is here that I will begin to give you new dreams, dreams that are not born of your old limitations, but of my limitless power and my expansive love for you. This is a room where you will discover that the ending of one chapter was simply the necessary prerequisite for the beginning of an epic with a scope and a glory that will astound you. My joy, my beloved, is to welcome you into the space I have prepared. I have taken delight in every detail of its construction, every choice of its furnishings, knowing that one day, in my perfect timing, I would usher you across the threshold. I have been waiting for you here, my child, with a father's eager anticipation, longing to see the look of wonder, of relief, of joyful homecoming in your eyes as you step into this new reality that has been created for you, and in a very real sense, by you. For the very substance of this room is woven from the redeemed threads of your own story. Its strength is your resilience. Its beauty is your compassion. Its light is your faith. This is not a fantasy, my child. This is the tangible, spiritual reality that awaits you on the other side of your surrender. The closed door of your past is not a wall to be despaired over, but the very entryway, the sacred threshold, into this magnificent new room. Your story has not been a tragedy ending in a sealed-off corridor. It has been a divine construction project, fashioning the very portal that leads to this place of grace, purpose, peace, and boundless possibility. So, do not linger any longer in the hallway of your past regrets. My child, staring at the door that is shut, turn your face, turn your heart, turn your very being toward the light that is streaming from this open threshold. Trust the hand that holds it open for you, and have the courage to take that next, simple, yet life-altering, step of faith. The room that awaits beyond is more beautiful, more peaceful, more filled with my love and my purpose for you than anything you have yet known. It is waiting, it is ready, and it is yours. And so, my cherished child, with the radiant vision of the new room held now before the eyes of your spirit, with the truth of its peace, its purpose, and its boundless possibility beginning to resonate within your soul, we arrive at the pivotal moment of your story. The threshold, forged from your own redeemed past, is before you. The new reality, prepared by my love, awaits you. My hand is on the doorframe, holding the way open, beckoning you forward. And now, my beloved, comes the sacred act of your response. It is time now to summon the courage that I myself have been cultivating within you. The courage to consciously turn your back on the wall where a door once stood, and to take that single, profound, life-altering step of faith across the threshold I hold open for you. I know, my precious one, that this step can feel like the most difficult of all. For so long, you have been oriented toward the closed door. Your identity, your emotions, your very posture have been shaped by the reality of that ending, that rejection. To turn away from it can feel like a betrayal of your own grief, a denial of the very real pain you have endured. A part of your soul may have become accustomed to the vigil in the hallway, finding a strange comfort in the familiar ache of what was lost. The new room, though beautiful and full of promise, is unknown, and the human heart, my child, often fears the unknown, even when it is a beautiful unknown, more than it fears a familiar pain. But I'm here to give you the courage for this turning, this stepping through. The courage to cross this threshold is not a denial of your past, but a fulfillment of its purpose. The very reason you endured the pain of the closed door was to arrive at this entryway. The reason your story forged this threshold was so that you might cross it, to remain in the hallway, forever staring at the wall of what is gone, would be to dishonor the sacred work we have done together, to allow the ending to have the final word when I, the God of new beginnings, have already spoken a new one. This step requires you to consciously release your grip on the identity of the one who was shut out. You have known that role well, but it is not who you are anymore. You are now the one for whom a divine threshold is being held open. You are my invited guest, the cherished heir being welcomed into a new room of my grace. This is a shift in identity, my child, from one defined by rejection to one defined by my divine invitation. And to walk in this new identity, you must first have the courage to take the first step that embodies it. What does this step of faith look like? My beloved, it is not a great athletic leap. It is often a quiet, internal choice, a simple yet profound movement of your will. It is a decision to say, yes, yes, I will trust that this threshold is real. Yes, I will believe that a new room of grace awaits me. Yes, I will turn from the pain of what is behind and step into the promise of what is ahead. Yes, Father, I will take your hand and cross over. This simple surrender, yes, my child, is the most powerful step you can take. It is the act that aligns your spirit with my own, the choice that allows my grace to flood into your life in a new and magnificent way. As you prepare to take this step, you must also be willing to let go of the baggage from the old hallway. Let go of the bitterness that may still cling to your heart from the rejection you face. Let go of the fear that this new door, too, might one day close. Let go of the feeling of unworthiness that whispers you do not deserve such a glorious new beginning. Lay these burdens down at the threshold. My child, they have no place in the new room. The room of my grace is for those who are willing to enter unencumbered, relying not on their own merits, but solely on the welcome of their loving host. My grace is sufficient to help you release these things. Simply give me your willingness, and I will give you the power to let them go. I am with you, my precious one. In this sacred moment of crossing over, my hand is not only on the doorframe, it is extended to you. I am not merely waiting for you on the other side. I am here to walk with you through the very archway itself. You do not have to make this step in your own strength. Take my hand, my child. Feel its strength, its warmth, its steady, reassuring grip. Let my courage become your courage. Let my confidence become your confidence. As we step across this threshold together, you will find that what seemed like a frightening leap into the unknown is, in fact, a simple, secure, and joy-filled step into the very heart of my presence. As you cross over, my beloved, you will feel an immediate shift in the atmosphere of your soul. The chill of the old hallway will give way to the warmth of the new room. The shadows of past sorrows will be dispelled by the radiant light of my grace. The echoes of the slammed door will be silenced by the beautiful, welcoming music of my love. You will know, with an undeniable, experiential certainty, that you have entered a new reality, a new chapter, a new and better place. This single step of courage, my child, changes everything. It is the demarcation line in your story, the point where the narrative turns from the pain of a past ending to the glorious, unfolding adventure of a new beginning. It is an act that honors me, that validates your own journey, that unlocks the future I have so lovingly prepared for you. Do not hesitate any longer, my cherished one. The pain of staring at the closed door is a pain that leads nowhere. The fear of stepping into the new is a fear that keeps you imprisoned in the past. But the courage to cross the threshold, the courage to take my hand and to step into the room of my grace, is a courage that leads to life, to peace, to healing. to a future that is more beautiful than you can yet imagine. The threshold is before you. My hand is outstretched. The new room awaits. Have the courage, my beloved, step through. And so, my cherished child, having taken that courageous step of faith with your hand in mine, having crossed the sacred threshold that your own story has forged, you find yourself now standing in a new and glorious reality. I invite you now to simply be in this space, to breathe its air, to feel its light upon your spirit. This is the room that has been waiting for you, the new chapter of your life, a reality defined not by the world's closures, but by my own divine openings. And from this new and beautiful vantage point, my beloved, your perception of everything, especially your own story, begins to be utterly, magnificently transformed. This is the view from the new room. The first thing you notice, my precious one, is the peace. It is not a fragile, temporary truce with your anxieties, but a deep, foundational serenity that permeates the very atmosphere of this room. It is the peace that comes from knowing you are in the right place, a place prepared for you by love itself. The frantic energy of the old hallway, with its desperate knocking on closed doors and its anxious pacing, has vanished. Here, your spirit can finally unclench. Your soul can rest. You are no longer on the outside looking in, but are securely, lovingly held within the sanctuary of my will. This peace is the very wallpaper of this new room. Its pattern, one of grace. Its color, one of quiet, joyful assurance. And now, my beloved, from within the safety of this peace, I invite you to do something that once would have brought only pain. Turn and look back through the threshold you have just crossed. Look back at the old hallway, at the very door you once believed was a solid wall, a final ending. From this new vantage point, this new room of grace, it looks different. Does it not? The door is still closed. Yes, for that part of your journey is indeed complete, but you no longer see it with the same eyes of bitter rejection or hopeless finality. From here, you can see the intricate carvings on its frame, the carvings etched by your trials, and you can now perceive their beauty, their purpose. You can see how the very wood of that door, once washed by your tears of sorrow, now possesses a rich and holy patina. You see the hinges, forged by your endurance, and you recognize their incredible strength, a strength that was necessary to support this very transition. From the view of this new room, the closed door of your past is no longer a monument to your failure or your loss. It has been transformed. It is now a beautiful, sacred artifact, the very threshold that led you into this greater glory. And as you look upon it now, your heart is filled not with the old pain, but with a new and profound sense of awe, of gratitude for a journey that was so much more purposeful than you ever could have imagined. This new perspective heals your past. My child, it does not erase it, but it redeems it. And it takes the most painful chapters of your story and reveals their indispensable role in bringing you to this new and more beautiful chapter. The why of your past suffering begins to find its answer in the what of your present reality. You understand now what why that way had to close, so that this new, more spacious, more glorious room could be open to you. And in this understanding, the last vestiges of bitterness and regret begin to dissolve in the light of my perfect, loving design Now, my precious one, turn from the view of the past and look around you at the new room itself. And look, especially at its windows. In the old hallway, there were no windows, only the unyielding wall before you. But this new room is filled with them, vast and clear, opening onto vistas you never knew existed. These are the windows of new possibility. And through them, the light of a future you had given up on now streams in, warm and full of promise. Through one window, you see a new landscape of purpose. You see pathways of service, of creativity, of love that are perfectly aligned with the person you have become. You see how the unique strength and wisdom forged in your trials now have a place to be expressed, a work to be done. Through another window, you see a new horizon of relationship, of community. You see the possibility of connections that are deeper, more authentic, more life-giving than those you have lost. Connections based not on neediness, but on the shared joy of two whole souls walking together in my light. Through yet another window, you see a vista of profound personal growth, of ever-deepening intimacy with me, of a journey into my heart that is boundless, endless, and filled with a joy that is your true and lasting inheritance. This view from the new room, my child, replaces your old despair with a new and vibrant hope. It replaces your old sense of limitation with a new awareness of my limitless power and my expansive love for you. It is I, your God, showing you that when one earthly door closes, it is often only because I am preparing to open for you an entire ballroom of heavenly opportunity. Live in this new room, my beloved. Make it your home. Breathe in its peace. Explore its possibilities. Rest in its security. This is not a temporary shelter, but your new dwelling place, a state of being you are invited to inhabit for all your days. Your story is no longer about what is closed, but about what is now held eternally open by my grace. My joy, my child, is to see you here, in this new room, your spirit finally at peace, your heart filled with wonder, your eyes alight with the vision of a new and beautiful future. This is the fulfillment of the promise I held for you. Even when you stood weeping in the desolate hallway, I saw this room all along. I knew the beauty that awaited you on the other side of the threshold, and my heart has been filled with a divine and patient love, waiting for the perfect moment to welcome you home. You are home now, my child, home in this new chapter, this new reality, this beautiful new room that your own redeemed story, in partnership with my grace, has so magnificently built. And so, my cherished child, as you stand now within this new and beautiful room of my grace, as you breathe its air of peace and gaze through its windows of boundless possibility, let this final, magnificent truth become the very architecture of your soul, the unshakable design of your new reality. The threshold you have just crossed is not a singular, isolated miracle. It is, my beloved, a revelation of an eternal principle, a divine constant in your life with me. For I am not just the God who opens a single door when another is shut. I am the God whose very nature is an open door. My grace, my love, my presence is an ever-open threshold. And my promise to you is that no matter what doors the world may seem to close in your future, your story in me will always, always be a threshold I hold open to more. This changes everything. My child, it transforms your entire understanding of your life's journey. You no longer need to live with a lingering dread of future disappointments, with a fear of encountering another sealed-off path, for you now know the secret of my kingdom. You now understand that a worldly closure is never the final word, but is often my divine signal, my sacred cue, that I'm about to open a new and even more glorious threshold for you. The world may operate on a principle of scarcity and limitation, but you now live under the economy of my grace, a reality of infinite supply and endless new beginnings. This ever-open door of my presence is your eternal access. My child, it is your access to my strength when you feel weak. It is your access to my wisdom when you feel confused. It is your access to my peace when you feel anxious. It is your access to my love when you feel rejected. This is not an access that is granted to you based on your merit, your performance, or your perfection. It is an access that is held perpetually open for you by my grace, secured by my love, and guaranteed by my unwavering commitment to you as my beloved child. You are never shut out from me. My beloved, the door to my heart, to my resources, to my very being, is always, always open to you as you walk into your future. My precious one, you will inevitably encounter new challenges, new situations that may appear to be closed doors. A new hope may seem to be denied. A new relationship may not unfold as you wished. A new venture may meet with obstacles. In those moments, the world and your old patterns of thought may tempt you to fall back into the old despair, to see only the wall, to believe that you are once again blocked, once again rejected. But now, you are armed with a new truth, a new reality. In those moments, I invite you to remember the threshold. Remember the sacred, loving process by which your last great ending was transformed into a beautiful new beginning. And in that remembrance, you will find the faith to lift your eyes from the immediate, visible barrier and to look for my hand on the doorframe, to listen for my voice, whispering of the new threshold I am already preparing and holding open for you. This is how you will walk for the rest of your days, my child, not as a victim of closed doors, but as a confident explorer of my divine thresholds. This promise, my beloved, is your ultimate security, your safety, your future, your hope. Do not rest in the stability of your circumstances, but in the unshakable reality of my character as your constant waymaker, your eternal doorkeeper. I will always make a way. When the world presents you with a wall, I will reveal a hidden gate. When it offers you an ending, I will provide a new beginning. When it seeks to confine you, I will lead you into a more spacious place. This is my nature. This is my delight. This is my unbreakable covenant with you. Live, then, my child, with a holy boldness, a joyful confidence. Do not be afraid to dream big dreams, to love with a whole heart, to step out in faith into the purposes I place upon your spirit. For you know now that even if you face rejection, even if you stumble, even if a particular path closes before you, it is not your defeat. It is simply a redirection, a divine plot twist in the magnificent story I am writing, a story whose ultimate theme is my triumph and your redemption. Your story is not one of closed doors. It is a grand and unfolding epic of one divine threshold after another, each one leading to a room more beautiful, a vista more glorious, a deeper experience of my love. My commitment is to continue to transform your story. The same grace that turned your most painful chapter into a beautiful verse. The same artistry that forged your past struggles into a sacred threshold will continue to be at work in every circumstance of your future. Nothing will be wasted. My child, every experience, when surrendered to me, will be used to create new entryways into my grace, new opportunities for my glory to be revealed in and through you. Rest in this, my precious one. Rest in the knowledge that your life is held securely in the hands of a God who specializes in opening ways where there are no ways. Rest in the peace that comes from knowing that no human decision, no worldly circumstance, no power of darkness can ever shut the door to my love, my presence, my ultimate purpose for your life. For that door, that sacred threshold, I hold open for you, now and forevermore. Your story is not, and never will be, a closed door. It is an eternal invitation from me to you, an ever-open threshold into more. And now, my cherished child, as you stand in the light of this new and glorious room, with the memory of the once closed door, now redeemed and beautiful behind you, and a vista of endless possibility before you, let your spirit be utterly at peace. The story of your life is not one of barriers, but of breakthroughs, not of endings, but of entrances. My hand is forever on the doorframe of your life, holding open the way into more of my love, more of my joy, more of my purpose. Rest in this beautiful, unshakable reality. You are no longer on the outside looking in. You are a beloved child, dwelling securely in the house of my grace, where the door is always, always open.